This was a Super Sunday of shockers all around Europe. Although today we're going to be covering the big games from the top 5 leagues, and in particular we are going to be discussing, of course, Arsenal v Liverpool. But as per usual, we're going to start in order. We're going to do the Premier League games, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga and Liga. And unfortunately, guys, today I didn't get to watch no Liga, North or Brazilian League because my brother's birthday today. So, I'm not going to spend the whole day watching football. But as I said, let's get straight into it because obviously the 2 p.m. games, Brighton v City. The City fans were telling us, yo, when Rodri's back, Mr. Invincible, let's see what happens. Judge us then. Well, we watched and look, it seemed as though Brighton had the blueprint from early, bro. They were pressing and pressing and pressing. You could see Haaland was getting frustrated. He was getting a bit rattled by Van Hecke. Do you guys remember when it was Godfrey that was, again, giving him a bit of argy-bargy? Sometimes with Haaland, you never know. Either it gets into his head or he uses it as fuel to go and bag. Well, this time, to be fair to him, again, a bit of a dead first half. It was a very, it was back and forth, but like very stop-start as well. A lot of fouls and whatnot. But then, fair play. Bob and Marmoush, great work, intricate around the box. Haaland manages to just, stab it home. Kind of bundles it in, but at the same time, like a predator instinct, if you will, in a good way. Not like on a, you just got caught, being a nonce, like, go and report him. Like a good predator, just before, you man cancel me or something. Good goal on his 100th Prem game, by the way. I believe it is, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think it's 88 goals in 100 games or something crazy like that anyway. Obviously, the most that anyone in the Prem has done. So, yeah, fair play to him. But in second half, again, it was a bit cagey. Nothing was really happening. Matoma had a couple nice chances here and there. And then Hurtzler, he rolled the dice. 4 at once. Nearly half of the entire outfield team subbed. And you know what? It paid off. Because suddenly, City had their back to the wall like that. And Brighton were attacking and attacking. Now, I remember, again, we're not going to be reactionary, but people were shouting at me when I was saying that Aït-Nouri going forward, class. But defensively, he's going to be a weak point and someone to target. Lo and behold, they spend the whole time just launching it over Aït-Nouri's head into someone to beat Aït-Nouri. And eventually, to be fair, on the other side, they get a penalty. Who steps up? Hammers Milner. This is someone who is nearing 40. He slots it home for 1-1, becoming, hear this stat is crazy, by the way. I saw this on the Sky broadcast. He is the second oldest scorer in Premier League history after Teddy Sheringham for West Ham back in 06, for those of us who remember. But he's also the second youngest scorer in Premier history when he scored for Leeds v, I think it was Sunderland back in 2002, for those of us who remember. And from that 1-1, I'll be honest, there was only one winner. Again, Brighton wave after wave of attack. And in the 89th minute, Gruder's been sent through on goal. Acres of space, but the pass is kind of overhit. He's controlled it, and then he has just chopped Trafford and Aït-Nouri at the same time. Sent Aït-Nouri shots to go and buy Oud, and slots home on his weaker foot into an empty net to win it 2-1. So, first and foremost, fair play to Brighton. Man City, slight cause for concern. Let's not lie about it. Obviously, 3 games, 2 losses. Not ideal. But before we get to Liverpool Arsenal, actually, let's get the other 2 p.m. game. I didn't really watch that because they're at the same time. And again, it was difficult. But I tried to keep track and they would show the goals as they go in. But to be fair, I didn't miss much initially because for the first 84 minutes, guys, it was 0-0, Forest and West Ham. Now, I saw a video recently of Graham Potter going to HD Cuts, the barber, and he got some nice little fade and everything. I said, okay, he's feeling different. And their players woke up minute 84. Next thing you know, Bowen bags his first goal of the season. Paqueta scores, and the celebration, very interesting. He picks up the phone and then he dashes it away. And he starts kissing the badge and silencing people. Was that a message to Fabrizio saying, yo, stop yapping about me. I'm not going to Aston Villa, because as far as we were concerned, he was already at Aston Villa, bro. It was already signed till delivered. So clearly that wasn't the case. And then Callum Wilson gets a nice header. It was a pretty average header, let's not lie, to make it 3-0 and get their first win of the season in stunning fashion, because Forest, obviously a lot of us have been rating them. But let's go to Anfield, because I want to get the whole lineup so we can discuss every player individually, right? Because as per usual, right, on TikTok, I feel like I only get 90 seconds, so I can't really discuss every single player because there's just so many games happening here. So let's talk about this game. And then you guys can let me know if you agree with my opinion, if you think I'm being harsh on someone or too polite to someone. I believe Arteta and Slot could have saved us all time today and then just shook hands on a 0-0 draw so we can all go out and enjoy the sun, go and enjoy some fresh air outside. Because neither team for the entire first half showed any impetus to even try and go forward. Every time any midfielder or a forward would get the ball, there may be like a run being made, they would ignore it and then pass it back to their DM or pass it back to their goalkeepers even, who would lump it forward, and the whole process just starts again. Guys, it was a terrible, terrible half. I want to say the only players in the first half... Okay, well, actually, let's go from the beginning, because minute 2, minute 3, Saliba goes off injured for Mosquera. Now, obviously, that's a massive drop-off in terms of, that's arguably your best defender, if not second best Gabriel, depending on how you guys see it. But Mosquera, I've been saying... I told you, both these teams, I've been watching them in pre-season, and Mosquera really impressed me. And to be fair, he slotted in, didn't really look out of place whatsoever, other than, he's not going to make those progressive passes. So probably that's one of the reasons why Arsenal were not spamming it forward. But in fairness, someone that I've also not rated, Madueke, probably like Arsenal's most dangerous player in this game, because he was getting in behind Kirkers time and time again, where I'm a Kirkers fan, innit? But it made me realize, this guy might not be fast at all, bro. Like, I don't think Madueke is exactly lightning quick, but he kept on having a field day. But again, with Madueke, unfortunately, it's a question of end product. So, the first half is 0-0. And again, I'm going to just quickly give like an overview and then go player by player and discuss it. I think they were good, bad, average, whatever the case may be, right? Second half starts. Again, it's more of the same. Like, nobody did like anything at all. I can't remember any Liverpool shots on target or even shots in general, because Ekitike was padlocked by Mosquera and Gabriel. But then by the same token, Konate was back to his best. Konate, I don't know what boots he normally wears, so Liverpool fans, let me know. Does he always wear these plain black boots? I feel like he looked different today. It was like he was wearing school shoes. You know them man that they do PE and they wear their black school shoes? He looked like he was not here for any nonsense, bro. He was back to his, imperious Titan best. Albeit, again, it's Martinelli and whatnot. And then obviously, Gyökeres was in a headlock by him as well. Then this is the part where I'm going to be real, I get a bit confused. And again, bear with me, because there's no cuts and there's no editing. I'm literally just yapping away. So if I forget something, apologies in advance. But obviously, minute 60 now, you're thinking, all right, you've held on. Obviously, you're without Saka, you're without Odegaard, etc., etc. So try and hang on in there. You know how Anfield can be booming when they feel like it. And then, try and push on and go and get the win. So Arsenal bring on Eze and Odegaard for Mikel Merino and Martinelli, who, by the way, again, we're going to speak about both those players when we go boom, 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 individuals, because some of these players, a lot to say. Anyway, so that happens. Arsenal start having, more of the ball, more attacks. But the next thing you know, Liverpool get a free kick. And from, I want to say 30, 32 yards out, Szoboszlai just bangs it. Literally, like, I think it was post and then even past David Raya. So again, you know me, like, I don't really care about like, oh, you said this 5 weeks ago, so therefore you can't praise this guy or do that, or you do whatever. That's a great free kick, guys. And again, he deserved, I guess, a goal for his great performance in the game, clamping Martinelli. My issue is when guys immediately start shouting like, oh, speak now, yeah, what about this now, as if like him being cold at right back means that he was always elite in midfield last year and the year before that. Because if we're using that logic to be reactionary, then people will start saying, oh, speak now on Wirtz. I'm someone that's been defending Wirtz this whole time. But guys, these first 3 games has been atrocious. He had an alright second half today, but in general, for the British transfer record, which might get broken again tomorrow, by the way, by the same team when they signed Isak, Wirtz was terrible. If we're going to be reactionary and start asking for apologies, then we're going to start saying Madueke is better than Salah. Because Salah today, what did he do? Nothing whatsoever. But we know that obviously he's not better than, or rather he is better than Madueke, sorry. Allow me the water because I'm yapping a lot here, but you understand. So nevertheless, Liverpool win 1-0. Let's talk about the players, because I'll start with Arsenal. Very easy. David Raya. We're going to speak about Barca later in this video. And I want you guys now, with speaking of saying sorry and apologizing and whatnot, I want guys to apologize for the way that you shouted at me and lambasted at me, especially Arsenal fans, when I said in the summer before he was, when he was linked to Arsenal, that Juan Garcia, however you want to pronounce it, is a massive upgrade on David Raya. That is what I said. I got shouted at because 2 golden boots, blah, 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 blah. Guys, size matters, unfortunately. I get it's a great free kick, right? But 30 plus yards out, you shouldn't really be getting beat. It's a good free kick, so it's not to take away from like the finish, because again, it's outrageous, hits the post. But he's fingertips away. He's literally like 2 millimeters away. And the passing he was doing in the first half, straight to opposition players, it wasn't moving me. And it's not to say that Raya's meaty or bad or average. He's a great, great keeper. Maybe second or third in the league, I would say. Alisson's like a clear one, and then you got, you know, the others below that. But I wasn't really feeling that. Julian Timber and Calafiori, I think they've done their jobs, to be fair. Timber wasn't like his best game ever, to be honest with you. Like, he defo lost the ball a couple more times than he usually would. But Calafiori did really well going forward. Of course, he nullified Salah completely, so fair play to him. Gabriel, I mean, fantastic again in big games. I think he always is, rather. There were some really big blocks. Saliba obviously went off Mosquera. Again, credit to him, bro, because, you know, going away Anfield as... Is it his first? No, to be fair, he's come on in previous games as well. But, like, your first... Let's call it a start, because he played literally like 88 minutes, right? So your first start being at Anfield, when you were not even mentally prepared to play, full credit to him. He did really well, nullifying Ekitike completely to the point where he had, you know, a couple sniffs of goal, but nothing really serious. Into the midfield, Zubimendi is becoming a cause for concern, guys. We cannot keep on allowing you, man. Big up you, man, subscribing whilst I'm still recording, by the way. That's the YouTube subscription notification. I'm recording on my Twitch thing. But anyway, move on. Zubimendi, Old Trafford, hiding from the ball. Remember I gave you guys the analogy when I was talking, not even an analogy, the story, whatever the word is, where I was playing with Jens Lehmann and he was launching the ball at me when I didn't want it. Zubimendi's moving like that again, bro. Old Trafford and now at Anfield. You can't keep doing this, bro. I get it, but you big up your thing, breaking down leads and whatnot, but this kind of hiding from the ball and being slow to track back, it doesn't work at the big stadiums where you can't do this. So that was a less than impressive performance, and it's someone that, again, you know me, I'm an honest guy, bro. I don't care what team it is, whether I like you, I don't like you. I was never moved by Zubimendi beforehand, but again, let's see. You know, you are adapting to life in England. Maybe it will improve. Declan Rice, this is one again that I find interesting because people were violating him for hitting the free kick over the bar. They said, oh, this guy, who does he think he is? Like he's some beast at set pieces. When just last week, we're all going crazy because he's got a pretty deadly set piece, just the way he whips it for the corners. So, yeah, is he meant to score every free kick forever now? I don't really understand it, bro. Is he meant to just, from now on, every free kick, it must fly top corner, otherwise he's bad? It's really confusing to me. But listen, to be fair, the corners, I'm seeing bombassos from Ornstein and that whilst I'm reading. So when you see me looking at my phone, I'm seeing Ornstein bombassos about Isaac and whatnot. That's why I keep on looking down. But yeah, Declan Rice deliveries today, not up to par, to be fair. But again, without Saka and Odegaard taking it on that side, we never really see Rice do those outswingers. It's always he goes the other side and whips it in. He didn't really get a chance to do that bar one occasion this time. So I get it. In general, he won the ball a lot. It wasn't like a great game from him, but it wasn't like a poor game. It was just kind of average. As I said, Madueke, probably Arsenal's best player. Mikel Merino. When I said at the start that they should have just shook hands on a draw, in my opinion, seeing the starting lineup and Mikel Merino is there is your indication that if you're not a fan of either of the clubs, don't bother watching, bro. Don't bother watching. Because it doesn't make sense that somebody can be so good at finishing and then so average at everything else. 30 million. And again, I'm the one getting shouted at when I'm saying, guys, what does he do in midfield? You can't gas up players here who were bought to play a position and then they're meaty there. They go somewhere else and do alright, a serviceable job. And now it's like, yeah, he's cold. Oh, he tries so hard. Bro, what is trying so hard? I can find an Arsenal fan on the street that loves the club so much. He'll go and try really hard as well, bro. It doesn't mean that you're going to be cold at football. So again, as soon as he went off, you could see that again, like when Eze and Odegaard were there was a little bit of link up there. Didn't quite get the shot away. But again, yeah, it is what it is. And Martinelli, regrettably, it might be reaching that time. I can't lie. It might be reaching that time because Konate always gives him a tough game. So that's nothing new there. But normally, you can rely on him in the big 6 games away from home or at home to get in behind and do damage. And facing Szoboszlai, who we're going to speak about when we get to Liverpool, you should be getting the best of him 2, 3, 4 times, making him suffer, getting him on a yellow card. We didn't see any of that whatsoever. And Gyökeres, it is like I said last week. If he scores a goal, it's a class game. If he doesn't score a goal, it's a fail comp. There's no like in between. He will never have like an alright game. He either scores or it's a bad game, bro. That is what will happen, because this is someone that he's not the most technically gifted footballer, right? He's just there to bag goals. And today, he did not bag goals. He did do like a nice bit of link up to, I believe it was Timber, who had a shot well blocked by Van Dijk. So, you know, fair play to him. But on to Liverpool, and then again, we'll quickly do the subs afterwards. Not that much happened with the subs. But anyway, Ekitike, as I said, I'm really liking him so far. But today, didn't really do anything. Seems like he got a bit too caught up in the emotions. He seemed really angry today. I'm not really sure why. But yeah, he didn't really get a sniff from Gabriel or Mosquera, so that's credit to them. Gakpo, I'd argue, was probably the most dangerous. Would you guys agree? Like now, whenever, and this is how you know me. I'm not like someone that I believe I'm always right at everything and I can never change my mind. I told you, man, World Cup times I wasn't rating him. His first year, I wasn't rating him. But now, when Gakpo gets the ball and cuts inside, you start panicking for your life. If you have like an Acheron, or if you're betting against Liverpool or you support the other team, the defenders start panicking, because you know Gakpo can take a touch and bang it or finesse it or slot someone in. So he looked very dangerous, but ultimately nothing happened. Florian Wirtz, guys, it is becoming a concern. I seem to be the only one that keeps on defending this guy, saying, yo, hear me out, give him time. But it's not looking good. That first half was probably his worst half of the season so far, right? Giving the ball away, getting bullied by the likes of even like Zubimendi. Obviously, bullied by Rice is fair enough. You know, that's to be expected. But Zubimendi and guys like this, it was really bad. Second half, he improved a lot. I'm not going to say a lot. He improved to a more acceptable standard, because this is the most expensive Prem player ever. So, and I know how good he can be, so I'm not going to start gassing him up for being okay in the second half. He did play Salah in a couple times, and that's what we're going to go on to next, because, guys, this may be, and I know people think I hate Salah or something. I just call it as I see it, as you can see today. Guys, Salah's touch was wiggity today, bro. Salah's touch was wiggity. I don't know what he ate today, but every touch was bouncing off like a trampoline, bro. It's like he was wearing Dr. Martens boots every time. Wirtz would play him in, or Szoboszlai would play a ball round like that, and you're thinking, oh, here comes Salah, come to finesse it. Nothing at all. Really, really bad game. Anonymous for the most part as well. Again, credit Calafiori, but yeah, not good. McAllister, I don't know if it's the new kid and he's tired or whatever, I'm not sure, but go look after your kid, broski, because as much as he was good in 2 weeks ago, today was really bad. Got hooked. Gravenberch, I think, was the best midfielder on the pitch today. I think the way he would control the ball, turn, find space, be an outlet when Arsenal tried to put a bit of pressure. I think Gravenberch was class today, so big up to him. Szoboszlai, as I said, I can't say anything bad today. You locked up Martinelli. Some could argue that's a really easy thing to do, and he scored a banging free kick. So for the next week or 2 weeks of international break, it is no more SpongeBob. You are back to Szoboszlai until we see what happens. Are you going to go back in midfield and start being a headless chicken again? I don't know. But for now, full credit. Konate again, back to his best. Van Dijk, really, really good. He had a chance where he could have scored had he shot. He tried to pass it to Wirtz or someone around the box. Didn't really bang. And Kerkez, it's a weird one, because sometimes it's true that a fullback and a winger can play well. But I think the amount of times that Madueke got in behind, for someone that doesn't really rate Madueke, I think that's a cause for concern. And Alisson didn't really have much to do. So that is that on the 11s. On the bench, I mean, obviously there's nothing much to say about any of these guys. Obviously Eze and Odegaard came on. They look sharp. Eze literally immediately took on Szoboszlai, got past him on the byline, but then, you know, lost the ball and that. But you could see immediately a link up with him and Odegaard that there is signs of things to come when you aren't playing Mikel Merino. Now, look, overall, Liverpool, it's a big win. It puts an end to Arsenal's long-standing record. I think it's like 1,000 and something days of no losses v big six teams. My only thing is I don't get the Sky narrative, and this is why I always say it's important to judge the games by yourself with your own narratives, not whatever Sky say. Because to me, them saying that Arsenal showed no signs of trying to win the game and they were like very risk averse compared to Liverpool is nonsense to me. Both teams were the exact same. They were not trying to go forward whatsoever. And if anything, Arsenal bringing on Odegaard and Eze was the sign of intent to go and win the game. And then they got a free kick and scored. So how guys have that logic, it tells me that this is not about like Arsenal, Liverpool, anything. Just in general, Sky Sports, why I don't enjoy watching the broadcast is because they just base everything on the final result. They now say, oh, it's the same old. But we've just seen that they haven't lost to these men in how long. But nevertheless, we move on. Let's go to be fair, there was one more game actually in England right quickly before we go to Spain. And that was Aston Villa. Unai Emery, they were asking him, yo, where's Emi Martinez in the press conference? He said, Biso, Biso, Biso. Like he was the boogeyman saying his name 3 times in the mirror. Well, those 3 times led to 3 goals conceded, a penalty conceded from Bizzo, and a Mark Gay whipped from 35 yards. No, I'm exaggerating. It was like 20 yards, but for a centre-back doing that, top bins, I said, yeah, man, wrap it up, bro. We know how Emery gets when it starts getting a bit shaky, it starts tumbling very quickly. Mark Gay, maybe his last goal before going to Liverpool, it seems. Again, I'm seeing the bombassos on my notifications, but yeah, fair play Palace, bro. 3-0 win. Mateta booked for the celebration. I didn't like that. But anyway, let's go to Spain because there are a lot of talking points here. Vallecano Barca. This was a robbery. I said on my TikTok that it seemed like they had lights off like we're in Ghana, where they'll turn off electricity for like 4 or 5 hours. Because how can they turn off VAR, guys? Since when is that a thing? The VAR lost connection, and in that exact 5 minutes when they lost connection, it was like, that's the exact moment that Yamal won a penalty. That was never a penalty. I think even the most diehard Barca fans will admit, you know what, we got a bit lucky there. That was never a pen. So, you know, they went and scored the penalty anyway. Yamal scores. He does a celebration, as you can see on the screen and whatnot. Look, fair play. He done his thing. But it was all Vallecano. You can blame the pitch for how they didn't water it and the bad conditions. Vallecano dominated. And it took, they huffed and they puffed. Like, someone corrected me last time. It was the 3 little pigs. My bad, eh? It was the 3 little pigs that were huffing and puffing. And then the wolf blew the house down. So there you go. And eventually, they volleyed home. But shout out to Isi Piazon. I mean, shout out to all of them, to be honest with you. They played really well. If not for Juan Garcia, that's 4 or 5-1. No, you might like it when I say 6-7. I don't get. I'm not 10 years old, so I don't really get the joke. But apparently, when I say 6-7, unintentionally, you man go crazy. So it should have been 6-7, but because of him saving everything, it remained 1-1. Barca dropped points, and honestly, they deserve to lose. But again, I'd like to know you guys' thoughts because I saw Rashford come on really, really bad. Fermin Lopez didn't do the best when he came on as well. But to be fair, Danny Olmo, who started, are there massive causes for concern there as well? Me personally, I didn't like what I saw whatsoever. The whole team, to be honest with you, didn't play good whatsoever. Again, it's full credit to Vallecano. Before we go to Italy real quick, big up Pepe, scoring again for Villarreal. But once more, Celta Vigo equalised right at the death. I think it was like minute 94 or something to break their hearts. But let's go to Italy because we had a surprise here. And no, it was not Juve winning again. Juve won 1-0. A Vlahovic header around minute 74, 75. He leaps highest to get there. And we know that Juve, despite what some of you may think about Milan v Inter, Juve and Inter seem to hate each other even more. So the Juve fans were on cloud 9. Because Inter, who went 1-0 up after great work from Thuram, chesting it and doing some keepy-uppies to find Dumfries at the back post. 1-0, you're thinking, all right, plain sailing now, San Siro, home game, comfortable win. Nah. Udinese came back with a vengeance, and by one of the goals, sweet. And again, fully deserved. They can cry about referees, they can moan about this, they can talk about handball this and who do. Bro, Udinese deserved that. I'm hearing certain man talking about the new midfielder like he's the next Luka Modric. Well, goodness gracious. Maybe it's the Modric of that first season at Madrid where he was voted the worst signing in La Liga history and it's going to improve next year. Because from this, what we've seen today, but alas, we'll go to Germany very quickly. Again, I didn't watch the game for this one, so all I can tell you about is Girassi bagging yet again, twice in fact, as they whitewash Union Berlin. Dortmund at home, listen, it's becoming a routine now. We know they're going to bag goals. We know they're going to win their matches. So that's not too much of a surprise. But again, you know, fair play. We go to France because we had a pretty big game. Just before that big game, we had Monaco versus Blueco. Sorry, not Blueco. We had Monaco versus Strasbourg. You can forgive me. Sometimes I forget they're not the same thing. Monaco won that game 3-2. And the big game, Lyon v Marseille, I'll be honest, was quite dead. It was 0-0 for the most part. And then right at the death, we see pretty much like an own goal to win it like minute 86. So, you know, there we are. I think that is every game that I was ready... English. That is every game that I was ready to cover today. Let me know what your thoughts were. As always, I forgot to say, we're on the road to that 100k, yeah? And the quicker we get to 50k, the quicker I'll start doing live watch-alongs. But I repeat, for anyone that hasn't watched the games or the highlights, every Monday around 4 or 5 p.m. I do a highlights, you know, match of the day stream on Twitch. So go follow on there. We debate and chat about all the games, the best goals, the worst performances. So yeah, let me know what you think. Liverpool, it's a great day for them, seeing Arsenal and City drop points. Are they going to win the league? Are they going to sign Isak? Are they going to sign Gehi? Did your team win this weekend? Because I know, sorry, I didn't cover that many leagues today, but let me know if you're a fan of a Dutch team, Portuguese team, Brazilian team, South African team. Let me know if your team won today. Let me know a gem to look out for or a great goal that I have to go and watch. Other than that, I wish you guys have a great week. In a bit. Bosh.